In December 1945, a squadron of 5 U.S. Navy torpedo bombers, known as Flight 19, departed Florida on a routine training mission. Hours later, the flight leader's voice crackled over the radio, completely disoriented. He reported his compasses were failing, unable to find any direction, and the ocean simply didn't look as it should. They never returned. A 13-man crew boarded a PBM Mariner seaplane and launched into the same airspace to search for survivors. Within hours, that rescue plane also vanished without a trace. Decades earlier, in 1918, the massive USS Cyclops was carrying a full cargo load and 306 crew members. It departed Barbados and vanished without a single distress call, marking the largest non-combat loss of life in U.S. Navy history. Then, in 1921, the Carroll A was discovered run aground off North Carolina. The ship was in perfect condition, but completely deserted, leaving behind a chilling pattern of ghost ships drifting in the Atlantic. Over time, these isolated tragedies bled together. People began to believe a localized, malevolent force was actively swallowing ships, planes, and humans whole. This map outlines the boundaries of that fear. By drawing connecting lines between Miami, Bermuda, and San Juan, Puerto Rico, you create a specific zone over the North Atlantic. To explain the missing crews within this geometry, the public embraced the supernatural. Theories spread about localized magnetic anomalies, ruptures in the space-time continuum, and leftover technology from Atlantis. But to figure out what actually sank these ships, we have to stop investigating oceanography and start investigating the mid-20th century printing press. In the 1950s, the American media landscape was dominated by pulp magazines. These publications specialized in the paranormal and the bizarre, and writers realized they could turn disparate, decades-old maritime tragedies into highly profitable entertainment. The process started in 1952, when a writer named George X. Sand published an article in Fate magazine. Sand was the very first person to group these specific missing ships together, explicitly mapping out the triangular shape where he claimed the losses occurred. The myth escalated in 1964. Writer Vincent Gaddis published an article in Argosy magazine that packaged all the prevailing supernatural theories together, officially branding the region with a name that stuck: the deadly Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is a successful editorial invention, manufactured specifically to move magazines off newsstands by exploiting a public hungry for a mystery. We know this because of Larry Cushé. In the 1970s, Cushé decided to systematically check the claims made by the pulp writers against original military records, eyewitness accounts, and historical weather reports from the dates of the disappearances. Cushé found that writers routinely omitted crucial context. The USS Cyclops, for instance, was struggling under a massive load of dense manganese ore, a cargo so heavy it left the hull structurally vulnerable to the first sign of rough water. This map shows the route of Flight 19. The Navy's own investigation concluded the tragedy was caused by a simple navigational error. The leader got turned around, flew into the open ocean, ran out of fuel, and ditched. Cushé also uncovered geographic cheating. Authors falsely listed ships that sank off the coast of Ireland or miles away in the Pacific as victims of the triangle. By stripping away the mundane facts, burying the weather reports, and relocating shipwrecks, these authors manufactured an eerie, cohesive mystery out of perfectly explainable tragedies. When you put the facts back in, the region is exceptionally dangerous, but entirely governed by physics. The North Atlantic is a high-traffic hurricane highway, prone to sudden atmospheric downbursts that hit the water like localized bombs, easily capsizing vessels. This thermal map displays the Gulf Stream, a high-speed underwater river driven by thermohaline circulation. Acting like a conveyor belt at 6 feet per second, it rapidly sweeps downed planes or boats miles away, leaving search parties empty-handed. Brutal, unrelenting maritime physics explain these disappearances far more effectively than any paranormal theory. This chart compares shipwrecks across global shipping lanes using Lloyd's of London data. They don't charge higher rates for the triangle because proportionally, extra ships don't sink there. The Coast Guard agrees. When accounting for daily traffic volume, the accident rate matches the global average. Because of this complete lack of evidence, the U.S. Board on Geographic Names doesn't even list the Bermuda Triangle as an official location. When subjected to raw data and statistical analysis, The Bermuda Triangle anomaly simply does not exist. If the science and the statistics debunk the mystery so thoroughly, why does the legend still endure all over the world? It comes down to human psychology. We are deeply uncomfortable with the idea that a highly trained crew can make a simple error, run out of gas, and vanish. We are terrified that sudden, chaotic weather can wipe a ship from existence in minutes. A supernatural narrative gives those losses structure. The Bermuda Triangle survives because we would much rather invent a monster with a geographical address than accept the vast, indifferent, and senseless brutality of nature.